Hey, what's up, guys? Here on the Fire Sports Pod, where everything we got is hot. I'm your host, Zach Jackson. We are back with another episode, guys. And look who's back. Irvin, my boy from Montclair State University. He's actually at the school today in one of those breakout rooms. So I appreciate him taking the time on this Wednesday afternoon to jump on the podcast.
Yeah, bro. Anytime.
All right, guys. So we are on season 5, episode number 10 on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. And we are powered by StreamYard, where StreamYard makes the dream yard go. And let's get right into the show. We got a good show for you guys today. We got a lot of segments we got to go over and a lot of teams. So first up, we're going to stick with NBA. NBA Media Day was yesterday. Some big question marks. We know we had the trade a couple days ago between the New York Knicks and the Minnesota Timberwolves, which send Karl Anthony Towns to the Knicks, and DiVincenzo and Julius Randle to the Timberwolves. So we're just gonna go literally an honest reaction on kind of how we both view this trade for both teams, and then we'll move into some Lakers talk with Bronny and LeBron. We'll move into some Ja Morant and the Grizzlies, their new starting five, as well as will the Clippers and Kawhi Leonard be somewhat our formidable opponent, or are they just going to be like a one-star type of team and stuff like that? So those are the question marks, and then we're going to move and transition into some MLB playoffs, and then our last segment will be some NFL talk. We'll go over Monday Night Football as well as Thursday night coming up. All right, so let's get right into it. So first up, Irv, what is your thoughts? Quick little segment on what is your thoughts about the trade between the Knicks and the Timberwolves that sent Karl Anthony Towns to the Knicks, Julius Randle, Dontae DiVincenzo to the Timberwolves. What were your honest reactions to that?
First off, I'm actually shocked because I think I don't think any of the players knew that they were going to get traded.
I don't think
Like
they did either.
I don't know if you saw Karl Anthony Towns. He posted a tweet with literally a dot, which means that he definitely didn't know that he was going to get traded. And out of his entire career in Minnesota, that dude never requested a trade. He
No,
never did. He was always dedicated. Ever since they drafted him, he's always been like loyal and faithful to the Timberwolves. And for him to get traded like that, and then on top of that, you have Julius Randle, who was a leading scorer in the Knicks, who led the Knicks through their rough moments. And then you have DiVincenzo, who just had I think a good season with the Knicks, and who's
I think a
now
great season.
and who, by the way, is like has a great connection with Jalen Brunson and now Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart, who are all they went to the same college together. So I mean, I think it was more of a win for the Knicks, in my opinion, because I mean, Cat is an all-star. Cat is the best shooting big man in the league. I think the only downside is that he's not a physical person, so they're missing that physical presence that Hartenstein would establish as a center for the Knicks. But I honestly think that the Knicks could improve from this because there's a lot of pick and roll actions they could use, a pick and pop. They could space out the floor even more for Jalen Brunson to get someone on an island and do an ISO, and just dot Anthony Towns in the corner, top of the key. So, I mean, I think this is a really good opportunity for the Knicks, and if they're healthy as well, because injuries do play a factor in this. So, if they can stay healthy, I think the Knicks can make it top three out of coming out of the East.
Okay. I have a similar take with you. I really can't disagree. I know it's a podcast. We're supposed to debate a little bit, but for
Yeah,
this one, I would actually say the Timberwolves definitely. I mean, Dante DiVincenzo is going to be great. I just don't like the fit of Julius Randle with Anthony Edwards. I think they're both ball dominant. Julius Randle
yeah.
wants the ball a lot. He's not really that guy that's used to passing a lot. He's more of
Yeah,
like
he was more like a scorer.
yeah, so
Yeah,
I would definitely say that the Timberwolves definitely downgraded, but on paper, Julius Randle, Anthony Edwards, Dante DiVincenzo, Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert. That's not a bad five. That's not
it,
a bad five.
it's not a bad five. It's not.
No, so I think they do have a good five. They have a good five to compete. I wish they would have ran it back one more time with Karl Anthony Towns in that big three. I would have loved to see what they did as they keep building and getting older and growing with each other. I thought that was going to be what they were doing, but I guess that's not the case. Now, for the Knicks side of things, the only thing the downside I think they did from getting Karl Anthony Towns was giving up Dontae DiVincenzo. I think if you give up like I don't know, maybe I would have rather definitely gave up Josh Hart more than Dontae DiVincenzo. I wanted Dontae DiVincenzo to stay with the Knicks. But they weren't going to give up Josh Hart because Josh Hart is that heart and soul of that defense. They want to keep him. So I had a feeling that wasn't going to happen. When I heard this, I was eating dinner at 11 o'clock. I'm like, wait, what? I thought it was a joke. And I look, everything's popping up. I'm like, damn, Karl Anthony Towns did get traded. And then on top of that, they dealt Dontae DiVincenzo along with Julius Randle. So that's the only downside I think the Knicks have. But I think the Knicks have definitely improved. You're talking about a starting lineup of Karl Anthony Towns could be at the 5, OG at the 4. You have you could put Mikal Bridges at the 3, Josh Hart at the 2, and Brunson at the 1. Then if you don't want to put that lineup, you can put Josh Hart to the bench. You can have Mitch Robb at the 5, Karl Anthony Towns at the 4, 3. You can have Mikal Bridges. 2. You can have what's it called? No, my bad. 3. You can have OG. 2, you can have Mikal Bridges, and 1, you can have Brunson. So you have a great 2 type of lineup that you can put in there no matter what. So I think
that's if Mitchell stays healthy as well.
But that's why I think they got Karl Anthony Towns for that reason, because Julius Randle can't stay healthy. Karl Anthony Towns hasn't really been injury prone, and he's stayed healthy year after year after year after year. So I think this overall, I'm gonna have to agree with my boy Irv. I got the Knicks definitely won this trade, but don't sleep on the Timberwolves. I think they do have a good enough 5 to compete in the West.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Cool. So now we are moving to Ja Morant and the Grizzlies. A very weird situation. You now have Jared Jackson Jr., you have Zach Edey, you have Barnes, you have Ja Morant, and you have Marcus Smart. That looks like their new 5. That's what they put the media day as. And I looked it up. That's their new 5. So it's going to be, I believe, Marcus Smart at the 2, Ja Morant at the 1, Zach Edey, I believe, is at the 5, Jared Jackson Jr. is at the 4, and Barnes is at the 3. And that really makes the most sense. So I think that's their 5. I like that 5. I would have to say the only thing I don't like is I would have rather kept Steven Adams. I think Steven Adams is going to be would have been a little bit better than a Zach Edey. I think Zach Edey just really I don't know if his game translates to the NBA. If he develops a 3-point shot, then definitely. But for right now, he's just a center, like a bona fide center. But he's dominant. He's 7'4". So we'll see what happens, but it's interesting. It's going to be a sight to see. Ja Morant's got now 2 monsters on his team, on his starting lineup. You got Barnes, a knockdown shooter, and you got Marcus Smart, a defensive guy, a guy that can block shots at his height, charges, a guy that's going to do everything for your team. I don't think they have a bad lineup. That lineup definitely can compete, but they're going to have a lot of problems with running up and down the court, especially with Zach Edey. He's not fast. He's not the quickest center. So I think that's going to be their problem. But other than that, I think they got a good 5.
So if you really think about it, then you go back to the days when Ja Morant, before he got his ban from the NBA, or when he was suspended, the Grizzlies were not a bad team. They went, I think they went 7 games with Golden State, if I'm not mistaken, or 6 games. I'm a Golden State fan, so I think it was around. All I know is that they gave us a run for our money in 2022. But they were with probably like I'm not gonna say a worse lineup, but they had something similar to this. I mean, they had Kyle Anderson, who's not the fastest person either. They had Steven Adams as well. I mean, and Luke Kennard and all those players. But I
You
think I
have a
think
lot of shooters. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like really their best shooter is Baines. Barnes. I'm saying
Baines.
Barnes. My bad. It's Baines.
Yeah,
My bad. My bad.
Baines.
My bad. Baines. That's their best shooter. You really don't have a good shooter outside of Baines on that five. Zach Edey can't shoot the ball. Jaren Jackson's not a good shooter. John Morant is very stretchy, sketchy.
I don't know about Jaren Jackson. Jaren Jackson, for a big man, he's a good shooter.
No,
For a
but I'm
big man,
saying
he's a
it's
good
like
shooter.
his form's weird. He's not consistent though. That's what we gotta agree. He's
Okay.
not consistent. He can
Okay.
shoot the rock, but he's not consistent. But Baines is consistent. Marcus Smart is not consistent. Yes, we've been saying he's not consistent. He's not a three-point shooter. John Morant hasn't developed a three-point shot, but we don't know. He's been off for a while, so maybe he has. Will be seen. But they need to definitely get their shooting up if they want to compete, because they can't compete with just dunking the ball and getting inside the post. Not nowadays. Back then, 5-10 years ago, you might be able to get away with this lineup trying to almost winning a championship. Right now, definitely not without their shooting. So I think their
Yeah.
shooting capability has to be up a notch if they want to compete for anything this year.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I think with Zach Edey as the center, I mean, he's more like a traditional big man, you know. I just think if he could probably move his feet more and like you said, develop a shot, you know what I mean? I mean, you know, we're supposed to debate, but these are kind of facts though, you know what I mean? Like the Grizzlies, they don't have a bad lineup, but I just think this rookie coming in who was like a 7'3" giant, you know what I mean? Like I honestly think like if John Morant and him connect on lobs or on some pass like back
Oh, it's going to be
doors or
great. It's going to be
it's
a
it's gonna
blockbuster.
it's gonna really, I mean, all I know is that the Grizzlies paint defense is gonna be, you
Oh,
know what I
without a
mean?
doubt.
They're gonna be set, but it's all about how physical Zaggy could be. He is a rookie. This is his first year, so we just need to see exactly where he stands as a player, because he's definitely going to be one of the key players in the starting five, especially for his height, especially for his paint presence. He could really be a good like inside scorer, and he could definitely be a paint defender for sure.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so we're gonna go to our last one of this. We're gonna skip the Clippers because I really don't think the Clippers are need to be talked about. We already know
Mm.
Kawhi's gonna miss part of the season, and that's just what the Clippers are. They don't got Paul George anymore. He's missing a couple of games of the season. They're toast. I really don't care about the Clippers that much. So we got to
Yeah.
go over the one thing for about a minute or two. The Lakers. How are we going to look at Bronny and whatever? I like the media day. The starting lineup looks nice. I wanted to run it back
Literally the
with the
same
starting
starting
lineup.
lineup. This is the
I
same
wanted
starting lineup as
I
last
wanted to
season.
run it back with the same starting lineup, but the same one, not changing 7 different ones throughout the season, 25 of them that we had. Wanted to keep the same one, which is D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, Rhea Hachimura, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. That's
Yeah.
the starting five I wanted us to keep, because when we played Denver, when we were up, that was our starting five, and we played really well. We just couldn't
Mhm.
close it out late. So what I'm just trying to say is that I want to see this lineup fulfill. Go through the lineup for the full
Right.
year. Don't fucking change it, this, that, and the other thing. Just stay the course. If you lose like 10 games straight, okay, it is what it is. Stretches like that happen. You just got to keep pushing through. So I'm hoping Darvin Ham, not Darvin Ham, JJ Redick comes to his senses and understands that just keep the same lineup. Don't try to change it because you're losing. Fuck LA media, whatever. Don't listen to them. Just stay with the same lineup and we'll be good. But it's going to be cool to see Bronny. Dalton Connect is going to be great. I think he's going to be fantastic with the Lakers. I want to see Bronny and see how he does his first game. I think a lot of eyes are going to be if he plays and really balls out his first game with the Lakers in Staples Center or in general. I think the first game would be in Staples Center just because of LeBron and Bronny.
Yeah.
Um,
Most
I
likely.
think if he plays well, he won't see the G League. I think he'll actually play 10 to 12 minutes a game in formidable.
Mm.
If he plays well his first couple games, do they give him a shot after the first game? That's the difference. Now, if they just plug him into the G League or I don't want him sitting the bench. Magic Johnson said this a couple days ago. I don't want Bron. He says if I'm Bronny's dad, LeBron, I don't want my son sitting the bench. I want him playing, getting better. So if he's going to sit the bench and not play, put him in the G League. Let him play. Let him
Yeah.
keep developing. Don't sit him on the bench. Because if you're not going to pay him 10 to 12 minutes a game and you're going to have him sit the bench until you guys are down by 30 or up by 30, it's a waste of time. Just send him to the G League, or you should have just left him in college. There was no reason to bring him there if you were going to do that. So those are the two
Yeah.
options for me. And I think that he betters off with both options. If he stays on the bench, he's not going to do good. If he goes and plays well and then gets implemented into lineups and he actually plays a lot, then that will be beneficial for him. But if anything, just play him in the G League for a bit, let him get his confidence, let him get his shot back, and let everything go into a good flow, and then bring him back. Don't let him sit on the bench and just rot there. It's just not fair.
So my opinion on this is, like, I saw the other day that JJ Redick said that he was going to play a 9-man rotation, which included Gabe Davis. I think that's his name.
Yep, no.
From the Heat, he's playing backup point guard.
Gabe Vincent.
Gabe Vincent, yes. So he was gonna Gabe Vincent, Jared Vanderbilt when he's healthy, Jackson Hayes, who's the other guy on the bench? And there was one
Cam
more.
Reddish.
And Cam Reddish, yes. And then you have obviously the starting five. Do I see Bronny playing at the NBA level for the Lakers? I don't think so. And I'm only saying this because in college, he wasn't even the best player on the team. No, nevertheless, the second best player. He wasn't a top player in the college rankings. But then you look at Jared McCain, who built up like all of his hype because of his high school days. And then he goes to probably like the best school in the country in Duke, and he performs well in Duke. And then you have Nick Nurse, the coach of the Philadelphia 76ers, saying, you know what? I think Jared McCain's going to see the G League a lot. So he's basically saying that he's not going to play Jared McCain like at all in his rotation. Maybe he will, I don't know, but he's going to put him in the G League so he could develop more skill because he feels like he's not ready. And that's the honesty that I feel like that the Lakers are missing, because they're doing all of this just for Bron and Bronny to have their father and son historic moment. That's that's the only reason why this is even happening in the first place. It is like, it's not. I honestly think if Jerry McCain's going to be playing in the G League, Bronny is definitely playing in the G League, whether he stays in the bench or not, because Bronny needs to build the hype. He's carrying LeBron's name like on his jersey. So he has to live up to the hype just like his father did. And if it means him going to the G League and him performing well in the G League, then he gets called up to be part of the 9, maybe 10-man rotation that JJ Redick's going to play this season, then by all means. But if he's going to be added to this lineup just because LeBron is the father and because we probably know deep down inside LeBron kind of runs the Lakers, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Then I don't know what we're doing. We're wasting a spot for probably an NBA level guy that's been there for probably 2-3 years and who has more experience, who's definitely more skillful, just for LeBron to have his moment with his son. Like, I don't know. In my opinion, he should have stayed in college. He should have stayed. He should have waited, because I think his teammate, who was the best, I forgot his name, but his teammate who was the best player and who was a top 3 player in the country, uh, he went to the draft. So I think
Isaiah
Bronny,
Collier.
yeah, I think actually he was
He
not
got
number
hurt.
one.
He got hurt, so his stock dropped.
Wow, but he in college he was like a top 3, I think.
Oh yeah. No, he was one of the best, and then he got hurt,
Yeah.
so he
So
dropped his stock a little bit.
so in my opinion, I think Bronny should have waited, played another year in college, so he could get his numbers up, so he get his value up. But like all of this wasting a top, like wasting a draft pick on picking up Bronny when they could have picked up probably another prodigy, but because it's LeBron, you know what I mean? I just hope Bronny lives up to the hype, and I hope the nerves don't come down on him and basically just ruin him, because psychologically, bro, that's gonna mess up a player that you have your father's name on your jersey. They're expecting you to do stuff, and mind you, he's like my age. He's like 19, I think, turning 20 like in a couple of months, and
Yeah,
he's not performing.
I'm older than him, which is fucking crazy.
It's crazy. So that's why I personally think that Bronny should still work on his game, work in the G League, work his way up to the starting lineup, and then he could have his historic moment with his father.
All right, cool, cool, cool. I like that. That's not bad. Hey, it go great. Both great takes. Disagreement. Both great takes. We gotta go move now from some NBA talk. We're gonna transition into some MLB playoffs. So I'm gonna share my screen, guys, and I'm just gonna let you guys know. And who we got moving past to the next round to face obviously the Yankees and everybody else. So these are the wild card games coming up. Right now we have bottom of the second, a game that's happening right now. Between or top of the third, I should say.
Top of the third, yeah, top of the third.
Detroit Tigers and Astros. But yesterday, Tigers got the win in Houston, 3-1. Royals just had a pitching clinic with the Orioles, and the Royals pulled out a win, 1-0. Then you had the Mets storm into Milwaukee and absolutely put up a 5-run inning, and they won
Mm-hmm.
8-4. And then the Padres blanked the Braves 4-0. So
Yeah.
the only one that I thought the Mets would win today. I didn't think the Brewers were going to drop the first game of the series, but hey, I'll take that all day. I'm a Yankees fan, but I root for the Mets until I want a Mets Yankees World Series, Subway Series. That would be fantastic.
Ooh, that would be so tough, bro.
That would be
Subway
great.
Series, bro. That would be great.
That would be awesome. I wish for that. But for today, I picked the Astros to tie up the series against the Tigers, one apiece. Also today, I think the Orioles will tie up the series against the Royals. I don't think they drop two straight. And I think the Mets, since they won yesterday, I think the Brewers come in and do some damage at home. I don't think they go down 2-0. And then I think the Braves also tie up the series because if they go down 2-0, the series is over. So yeah, that's pretty much that. I have the Astros. I have the no. I have the Royals beating the Orioles. No, my bad. Hold on. What do I have? No, I have the Padres beating the Braves to advance to the next round. I have the Mets beating the Brewers to advance to the next round. I have the Tigers upsetting the Houston Astros. And then I have the Baltimore Orioles beating the Royals. I think they're just a better team, but they have to win. So I have those teams winning and going to the next round. The only upset I have, or two upsets I have, are the Tigers beating the Astros and the Mets beating the Brewers. I think the Orioles and Padres, they win their series pretty respectfully. That's pretty much my picks for the MLB playoffs going into the next round.
Mm. I mean, if I were to pick, right, I've been trying to keep up with MLB. I think the Royals did get away with one, winning the last time. So in my opinion, I feel like the Orioles, they might tie it up this today, just because, I mean, the Orioles were doing, pretty well during the regular season. I think, it's very common, for the other team to get a lucky win, and then, the better team is going to come and just take over. So I think today, definitely the Orioles are going to tie this series up. Mets and Brewers. I mean, the Mets have been playing pretty well. I mean, winning 8-4 against the Brewers, who are not bad, by the way, during the regular season. They
No,
were actually
no,
they
they
were
were.
they were really they were performing really well. So I do think the Brewers are going to tie it, and then I don't. Yeah, I think they are going to tie it. Padres and Braves. Honestly, I think the Padres are gonna take this one, in my
Really?
opinion.
Okay.
I just think so, because the Padres, again, regular season team, they were actually performing, like, pretty well. I mean, I think it comes down more to like the pitchers. I think maybe the Braves do have a slight advantage here in terms of pitching, but I mean I don't know. I still got the Padres though because I just think offensively they're just a better team. But I just think in this game, in order for the Padres to take it, I think it just comes down to the pitchers.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. 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 So a little bit of a disagreement when it comes to the MLB playoffs. I like that though. We gotta have some
Mm,
debates. We gotta have some disagreements. Now
yeah,
Monday Night Football. To recap Monday Night Football and go over Thursday Night Football. Just quick. I'm gonna show my screen for the Detroit and Seattle game just to show you guys who we're kind of talking about. Like I said, this was a great game. I called it was going to be a high scoring game. Didn't realize Detroit was going to score 42 and Seattle was going to score 29. And if you score 29 points for an offense and you lose the game, you got to blame the defense, man.
yeah, that's definitely the defense.
That's really bad. But Geno Smith played a good game when it comes to yardage. Just had a bad mistake. Kenneth Walker had a great game, 80 yards, 3 touchdowns. DK had
Yeah,
another good game, 7 receptions for 104. Jared Goff, I mean, this guy has been spectacular for the Detroit Lions.
18 of 18, man.
That's crazy. 100% for completion percentage, 292 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jameer Gibbs had another great day, 14 carries for 78 and 2 touchdowns. And Jamison Williams, too. He had one big reception for like
Yeah.
71 yards. Took that shit to the house, got the touchdown, and Detroit wins. So I picked Detroit to get the win. They did. They won, and they improved to 3-1. Seattle drops to 3-1. Like I said, Detroit really just kept scoring. I mean, 7 in the first, 14 in the second, 14 in the third, 7 in the fourth. Um, Seattle, 13 in the third, 0 in the first, 2 in the second, and 9 in the fourth. If they would have scored at least one touchdown in the first quarter, it's a different game. 36-42, down by 8. There's a lot that could have happened, but they couldn't really get the job done.
Yeah, I mean, although like the Lions gave up almost 400 yards in receiving yards because Geno Smith threw for 395 yards that game.
Yeah.
So that's 400 yards. So they gave up a lot of like receiving yards. And you also have DK Metcalf with 104, Tyler Lockett with 61, and there's a lot. But I just feel like when it came close to the end, probably like around third quarter, like close to the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth, I think the defense, that's when it truly locked in, and then that's when they started tipping the balls. That's when they started, locking down DK Metcalf more. I mean, although it was an outstanding game by both DK and Gino, and then also Kenneth Walker. I mean, you also got the Lions, bro. They're just scoring machines, man. You got Gibbs and Montgomery, the two-headed monster down there in Detroit,
Yeah.
just absolutely shredding it, bro. Like almost 80 yards for Gibbs for 14 with 2 touchdowns. And then you also got Montgomery with a touchdown with 40, and then you got obviously Goff with almost 300 yards in receiving. I mean, I don't know. I just think the defense of Seattle they were keeping up, but then they just couldn't. So
Yeah. All
yeah,
right. So we are now going to move to the next game for Monday Night Football, which was the Miami Dolphins and the Tennessee Titans. I'll share my screen for a second. There's really not much that we got to go over. This game was just complete shit. Like, respectfully,
yeah,
complete shit. Tennessee rolls into Miami and dominates Miami Dolphins 31-12. Tennessee improved to 1-3. Miami dropped to 1-3. Both teams were tied at the end of the first. Then Tennessee just went on a scoring spree, 9, 10, and 12 in the last 3 quarters. Mason Rudolph ended this game. Will Levis, I believe, got benched or got hurt. Forgot which one it was. 9 of 17, only 85 yards. Tony Pollard had a pretty good day for Tennessee.
yeah.
22
Oof.
carries, 88 yards and 1 touchdown. DeAndre Hopkins still on a football team. Didn't even think he was still on the team. 2 receptions, 31 yards. Tyler Huntley, first game with the Miami Dolphins since being traded last week. 14 of 22, 96, no touchdowns. Tyler Huntley also ran the ball, had their only touchdown of the game on 8 carries for 40 yards and a touchdown. And Jalen Waddle had 4 receptions for 36 yards. Tyreek Hill really was a non-factor in this game. Everybody for Miami was a non-factor. So I would say Tennessee, this is not like, oh my God, we beat a team. You beat a team with no quarterback, and a quarterback that is not used to also the playbook that you have in Tyler Huntley. So can't be too mad, but still, Miami's season this year is kind of over. They suck. And I think Tennessee, even though with this win, they still suck too. And I think their season's over too.
Yeah, I agree 100%, especially with Tua out. I think
there's no
Miami. Yeah, I think Miami's just missing that piece because I mean you have the best player in the top 100 NFL in Tyreek Hill, and I think the defense needs to. I think the defense needs
quarterback to get him the ball.
Yeah, definitely.
You need to have the right quarterback. If you don't have the right quarterback to get him the ball, he's really not the best receiver because he's not a route runner. He's a speed guy. So you really need that guy that can throw the ball. Tyler Huntley has never been known to throw the ball deep. It's always been
like short passes.
It's always been short passes running. Like he'll throw a nice 25-yard deep post route, but he's not throwing a 50, 60-yard bomb like Tua will or Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. And that's really what opens up Tyreek. The fact that he doesn't have that is the reasons why he's been a non-factor in these last couple of games because he just doesn't have that guy. And the why CeeDee Lamb for me and Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams are still regarded as one of the top receivers for me is because they're route runners. They can throw a nice quick slant, like a real good quick slant, not just run past them, like a good move quick slant to get open. And I think that's real difference between Tyreek and CeeDee and Justin Jefferson, Devontae. They can still make those routes. And Jamar Chase, they're not just a guy that's got to run down the field to get the ball. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
There are other ways you can get in the ball, screen pass, but we're talking Tyler Huntley, who's been on the team for less than a week. It's hard to be able to prepare like that and be able to do great in a game. So I would definitely say that he's got to get more into it with the team, and then he'll start progressing a little bit better. But yeah, that's pretty much that for Monday night. I really think that that was just a really bad game. I don't know why that game was on Monday Night Football. I think that game should have been pushed to the Sunday games, like at 1:00. The shitbag game.
Yeah,
I really did not like that game. At least that game was before the other game, but still, just not a good look for the NFL to have that game as you're representing Monday Night Football.
That wasn't. I mean, unless you're a Tennessee Titan fan, bro. Other than that, though, like, it was a very bad game.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we're on our last segment for today's show. So we're gonna make this quick, and then I gotta bounce. I gotta head out. I know Irv's got to head out. He's got that room he had that room for 30 minutes ago. No one showed up.
I don't know where the other person is, to be honest.
So hey, that's all right with us. We got our last segment. We're gonna be on here for like 2-3 minutes, and then we're both gonna jump on again, guys. Before we start, appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget, guys, to follow the Fire Sports Pod _2.0 on TikTok. That is my TikTok for the Fire Sports Pod, as well as our Instagram, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. So don't forget to check that out. Let's get right into it, Irv. We have Tampa Bay Bucks, your favorite team, taking on the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. Tampa Bay is 3-1. Atlanta is 2-2. This is tomorrow at 8:15 p.m. Eastern time. So what do we got here? I'm taking Tampa Bay, and it's not because I want to make you happy. No offense, I could care less about Tampa. It's because they're actually a really good team. They got a good quarterback. They have a great system going for them. And Atlanta is just they're not young, but they're too new. They don't know what their identity is. They haven't figured it out yet. It hasn't hasn't clicked. Even Kirk Cousins said it has not clicked yet. So I really personally believe that they need a little bit more time. I think they're going to be a good top team, Atlanta, but I think you're going to have a tough time. This is a division game. This is going to be a hard-fought game. This is in Atlanta. It's going to be a hard-fought game. So I wouldn't be surprised if Atlanta gets the upset here in Atlanta, but I'm taking Tampa Bay. I got Tampa Bay winning this game, but it's going to be a close one. I got it less than 30 points for each team. I think this is like a 20, 21, 24 type game. It's like close, but like not close. Like it's a lot of yards, but a lot of touchdown here, field goal there, maybe another field goal, another touchdown, and then that's it. So I think he gets to 21 to 24 points, most 28, but I don't even see it going that way. I got either two scores. I got either it's 20 to 7, 3 scores, 20 to 17 Tampa, 24 to 21 Tampa, or I got it 28-21 Tampa.
So I think what I'm going to disagree with you is how much points you're giving the Falcons, because I feel like you're just sleeping on the Bucs defense. Bucs defense, respectfully.
Whoa. I gave one of my picks 17. What the fuck you mean? I gave him 17 points.
No. The Falcons, I'm sorry, but just like how you said Kirk Cousins said, bro, they're not clicking. The Falcons are not clicking, bro. They're 2-2 right now. Kirk Cousins got 4 touchdowns and 4 interceptions.
17 points, though.
I got the score right now. I could confidently say because, mind you, the Bucs offense is well connected, bro. You got Baker Mayfield, who is a well-rounded captain for Chris Godwin and for Mike Evans, and then you also have our rookie, or not our rookie, Sims, I think his name is. You have him. He was really quick. You also have Irving, by the way, as our running back. And then you also have White as our running back. 2 monsters right now. And offensively, we're just going to outscore them completely. I'm thinking 21-24. Now, when it comes to defense, you can't sleep on the defense, bro. I 100% think, like, bro, we left Philadelphia, who's supposed to be a top tier team, to only 16 points. Detroit, 16 points. Miami with Tua, 14 points. Now, we're not going to talk about that Commanders game because we did give up 20, and it's just the Commanders, for crying out loud. But you know what? We scored 37. So, respectfully, I personally think that we're a top 3 defense, and I think we're going to hold them down to 10 points.
Okay. All right. But you know the difference between 17 and 10 is a touchdown, right? You fucking jackass.
That's what I'm saying. We're going to hold them. I'm giving them 1 touchdown and a field goal, or 2 touchdowns. That's the most I'm giving them, because they're going to be kicking the ball.
Whoa. So then the difference between my score and your score would be 3. What does that mean?
No, because you're giving them 17.
You just said you're going to give them a touchdown and a field goal, and then you're going to give them 2 touchdowns. Then that means 14. So you need
because that's breaking my maximum. Like, that's breaking my maximum. The maximum points that I'm giving them is 10 points. I'm only giving them 14 because Kirk Cousins is Kirk Cousins, and he's going to find his receivers or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm giving them 2 touchdowns. But I'm giving them a touchdown and a field goal, and I'm pushing it to 14.
Okay.
And
all right.
That's what I think. Or maybe 13.
So at least we respectfully agree that we're picking Tampa to win. But we respectfully disagree on the score. That's all right. I'll take it. I still think you're retarded because it's a difference of freaking 3 points. But hey, I'm not saying nothing. We'll see on Thursday. And if that happens and my score is correct, I'm gonna tell you, shut up.
We'll hop on the next day to just talk about it.
Exactly.
We'll hop on the next day just to talk about it.
We're gonna hop on it. I'm gonna tell you that, my God, there was a difference of fucking 3. Really? Really, man. Really. Oh, my Lordy.
Oh, my goodness.
That was funny. All right, guys. Yeah. That's pretty much it for the show here on the Fire Sports Pod, where everything we got is hot. I'm your host, Zach Jackson. This is my guest host and good friend of mine from Montclair State University, Irv. Appreciate him coming on and doing this podcast at a late notice. It currently is 3:36 p.m. Eastern, guys. This is season 5, episode number 10, powered by StreamYard, where StreamYard makes the dream yard go. Peace out, guys. I'll catch you guys on Friday.